So, the only walls left to add right now are the foundation walls. And foundation walls are structural walls, and as a result behave a little differently than what we've been used to so far. Without getting into too much detail about creating custom views, we'll first begin by creating a new foundation plan that we can use to create and view the walls. So I'll right-click on the first floor plan in the browser and select Duplicate. Now, I'll rename the duplicated view Foundation Plan. Since foundation plans are considered structural walls, I'll change the discipline from architectural to structural. And just so you know, the discipline partially determines what you'll be able to see in the view. I'll scroll down a bit until I see the view range. When I find it, I'll click Edit. The view range determines how the 3D model is cut to create the 2D view and what you'll be able to see. I'll leave the range alone, but I want to change the depth. We duplicated the first floor plan, so right now the depth is set to only look as far down as the first floor level. So let's change that to the top of footing level, so we'll be able to see down below the building to the foundation. I'll also add an offset of -1 foot. So, effectively, what we've done here is create a view that looks down from the first floor level to 1 foot below the footing. I'll click OK, and the view is done. Moving along, next I'll set the underlay to first floor. Now, Revit lets you underlay any plan, even if it's for a level above the one that you're working on. Now I'm ready to launch the Wall tool. For the type, I'll choose the foundation 12-inch concrete wall. Now here's a key difference between foundation walls and the walls that we've created before, okay? Notice here in the options bar, instead of a height, I have a depth value. Unlike generic walls, which have a height and by definition are drawn upward, foundation walls are drawn downward from whatever level you start them on. Got it? I know, it can be a little tricky and throws off new users sometimes, but there are lots of little nuances like this that you'll come across when using Revit, which is why I always recommend paying close attention to the properties as you're creating and adding elements. I'll set the depth so the foundation walls extend downward to the top of footing level. You know what? Here's a great opportunity for me to introduce a new tool to you, the Pic Lines Tool. You can find the Pic Lines Tool up on the Draw panel. The Pic Lines tool lets you select existing lines to use to create new geometry and model elements. Since I'm using Pic Lines, I'll make sure the location line is set to wall center line, and I can use the Pic Lines tool to select the location lines of the exterior walls and use them as the location lines for the foundation walls. You can select them all individually or use the Tab key like I've done here to quickly create them at once. If I switch to a 3D view, voila, you can see the results. Alright, now before wrapping up, let me go back to the plan view and use the Align tool to align and lock all of the wall faces to the reference planes. Double check the preferred dropdown because you want to lock the exterior faces, not the center lines or location lines, okay? Remember, with the Align tool, you click the target first and then the object you want to align to it. The second object aligns to the first. Okay, so at this point we've pretty much roughed in all of our walls and we can come back and customize them later on. But before we go customizing stuff just yet, let's create the floors and the roofs, starting first with the floors.